So guys, welcome back to the channel. And this right here is going to be a 6-month review after having the Soundcore Aero Fit 2s. Now the original link is in the description. I also have the AI translation feature in the description for someone that's interested in that. I want to make this video a little bit faster and quicker than the others. Probably not going to turn out that way. But anyway, let's go over some of the specs. It's to the left if you want to read with me. So right here, you do have 11.5 millimeter drivers, which are very powerful and bass heavy in my opinion. It says bass turbo, as a matter of fact, with high resolution. The high resolution is LDAC. So you have the option to switch between LDAC, which doesn't support multi-point if you do, but if you leave it on like the SBC, the AAC codecs, and you can use multi-point without a problem. And don't worry, it sounds good whether you use LDAC or not. The water resistance is IP55, so you can go to the gym, you can go outside. I've used it on my scooter in the rain and things like that. Obviously, protect your product, but at the same time, it can take a beating. Now, the case isn't IP rated, but the actual earbuds are, so keep that in mind. They are Bluetooth 5.4, so pretty up to date for most people that have phones. I think they're up to 6.0 or something, but 5.4 is perfectly fine. Fast charging 10 minutes gives you 4 hours of listening time. The actual talk time is going to be a little bit different than listening time, a little bit less. Now the playtime total, and I think I skipped that one, is 10 hours for one listening session, and then you have 42 hours total if you include the case. Now you can charge them about 3 times or so in between that. Keep that in mind. Also, the application itself, the Soundcore app, which is absolutely free, it shows you the battery life, and it actually shows you the battery life of the charging case. Sorry, I had to snap there for a moment. Calls are 4 mics with AI. And I got to say, the calls are very clear when you're talking to people. Inclement weather can change the effect of how clear the microphones are going to be. But if you're in a pretty controlled area, it sounds actually really good, especially for phone calls, conference calls, and things like that. You do have a multi-point connection, which works very well. But keep in mind, you need the Soundcore application in order to sync that to begin with. The touch controls, it's pretty customizable for the most part, but you also have the option to turn them off if you don't want to do accidental press at all. And then you also have IP55, which I think I already kind of talked about the water resistance. Now, the one feature I didn't mention, right? It does have 3D sound, of course, which is interesting. It's not something that I personally care about, but some people might like that. You do have customizable EQs. You have EQs that are built in. If you have a customizable EQ also, you have a dedicated gaming mode, and you also have AI translation. Now, the thing about the AI is that I'm not going to show it in this video, but I do have a link in the description for a previous review I did, so you guys can see how the AI translation works. And believe it or not, you can even put it up to movies and it'll translate that too, but you got to make sure that it can pick up the sound. Now, with that being said, timestamps are in the description for anyone that wants to skip forward. Let's get into this re-review and see if they're still worth the asking price, which they did increase from $99 to $129. So I'm going to show you guys how to sync the buds, just in case you forgot, because I do have an original video of these. You're going to open up the case right here, and the buds should actually put themselves in pairing mode. Just in case they don't, you will hold the back button right here for a couple of seconds, and then this would blink, and it's already in pairing mode. Now keep in mind the buds do have multi-point, but you'll need the Soundcore application in order to access that. So I'm going to tap Bluetooth. I'll actually turn it off.
Connected.
All right. Actually, let me disconnect this real fast. I forgot it's connected to my chair. There we go. Here we are, Soundcore Aero Fit 2. Come on, Kirby. I'm going to hit pair right here. And the buds are currently connected. That's simple. So as soon as you close the case, they should disconnect. Give it a second to do so. There we go. And if you open the case back up, it should reconnect without me actually taking them outside of the case. So there we go. Now follow these instructions. Now, if you're trying to disconnect these and give them to somebody else, you hit the little cogwheel right here on Android, press forget, boom, and then you could just go ahead and give them to somebody else. And they automatically put themselves back in sync mode. That's why you see the Soundcore Aero Fit 2s at the bottom of the screen. So follow these instructions. You should have no problem moving forward. So the fit and feel of an earbud is super, super important. I can't stress that enough. And I want to show you what it is that I'm talking about. So first things first, these are completely adjustable. As you can see right here, they click back and forth. Personally, I wear them in the tightest fit so that the speaker is directly in the ear canal. Not in the ear canal, but hovering over it so you can actually feel the bass of the headset. And surprisingly, this is actually very bass heavy for an open ear headset like that. So once you hook them behind the ear, as you can see, depending on how you wear it, it's going to fit like this. And it's actually pretty snug for the most part. Now, some people might pull it back a little bit more like so, and you can wear it that way, but just make sure you find the most comfort. It's really supposed to kind of sit right here. And even if you shake it, it's a very minimal movement. So if you're jogging, if you're running, if you're doing sit-ups and pull-ups, you may have to adjust the ear from time to time. But outside of that, it's a pretty solid fit and design. I actually like this a lot. Now, there is a downside to this, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. Now, I have tried some other earbuds after this one. This is probably one of the most comfortable earbuds I've had in a while outside of the Open Rock S2s. Those are much more comfortable than these, though this has better sound, though, out of the two. And I do want to say that after wearing this for extended periods of time, it gets kind of painful after a while. Now, I wear glasses, so my glasses groove kind of fits over here. As a matter of fact, what is this? Let me kind of show you. So if I place this like so, this is how it looks with glasses hooked onto it. So I keep these on there because, you don't want this to cut into your ear. Since I'm a glasses user, I wear them all day long and I barely take them off, so I had to protect myself. So this does a good job of protecting my ear, but the problem is that it pushes down on this, which may cause some soreness between your ear right here. Now, again, my sessions for listening times are normally about, 2 to 3 hours or so. I normally use these on my Steam Deck. I use them on my phone occasionally when I'm at home, but I normally use them on my Steam Deck and my actual PC sometime when I just want to, just play the game or something. And it does a pretty good job of picking up footsteps and all that stuff in the background, but we'll talk about that in the next section. But what I will say, like I said before, is that they are very, very comfortable with headphones. You're not going to find many that are this comfortable. But at the same time, if you wear anything for too long, it can be a little sore. Now, my wife has ears. Her ears are actually smaller than this. And granted, they fit on her ear just fine. She did say she felt a lot of soreness on the back, and it's one of the reasons why she gave them back to me. But I still personally use these. But just keep in mind, ear hooks may not be for everybody, but Soundcore did a really good job with the Aero Fit 2s in terms of comfort. But if you're trying to listen to it for that 10-hour battery life, you're going to definitely feel soreness over time. At least that's my experience. So kind of keep that in mind. So the music quality for this headset is still as good as it was when I first initially got it. Now, there are some drawbacks to using it outside though, and we'll get to that in a little bit later in this video. Well, in this section of the video. Let's talk about the good first. So when I use it for multi-point and I switch between my Steam Deck and my phone, it seamlessly switches without any problems. The audio doesn't have any stutter or lag. If I'm playing games like Ender Lily, Call of Duty, which I don't really play Call of Duty like that. So I guess same Dead Space remake, Resident Evil 4 remake, Silk Song, I've been playing that a lot lately, emulated games on the PS2, the GameCube and stuff like that. Everything just works very, very well. The bass is pretty pronounced. It doesn't overtake the entire headset, but at the same time, if you put it on bass booster, it's actually very heavy, even without it on a regular Soundcore. And if you decide to actually use the equalizer to customize it, this is a beast of a headset, which is super surprising. Now, when you're listening to regular music, whether it's rock, rap, R&B, for anyone that's familiar with this channel, I listen to a lot of Juice WRLD. Well, not anymore because, I kind of changed my life around, but I do listen to a lot of soundtrack music. Occasionally, I'll listen to some rap. I'll listen to some R&B. Definitely rock is my favorite category, whether it's AC/DC, whether it's Adema or other groups. It sounds really good, and the bass is heavy enough where it's like I can bop my head and it feels like nothing is really lacking. Now, the only downside, and this is what we need to talk about, is that if you're outside, inclement weather, meaning you catch a train, for example, you're probably going to be able to hear the L train or the Broad Street line if you're like in Philadelphia. You're going to be able to hear people's conversations a little bit, and you can turn it up and block out a lot of the sound when you're just walking down the street with cars going past and stuff. But also, you don't want to damage your eardrums, so kind of keep that in mind. But it is powerful enough to block out a lot of people around you. Like when I'm standing in line at the grocery store and this person is, oh my God, you know what I mean? Those ghetto conversations. I'm able to block that out completely, and I'm loving it whenever I do that. But at the same time, as soon as I get on the train to go to work, I had to do the test all over again with this. I was able to hear the tires. I was able to hear the tracks, the screeching of the train, the rocking back and forth. Granted, I was watching something on Netflix, so I was still able to hear the movie just fine, but it was very, very distracting. And even if I play music, you can still hear everything kind of happen around you. Because if you're on a train with 50, 60 people in one cart, or even 10, 15, 20 people and they're having conversations, it's going to kind of overpower the headset. So keep that in mind. It's not the jack of all trades. It doesn't really overpower, if you're in situations with lots and lots of people. But at the same time, the microphones are extra clean. We're about to go to that section in a little bit. And overall, I still give it like an 8 out of 10. If it was able to block out more sound, that would have been awesome, but it can't, and it's not life or death, but these are really, really good headphones. And even after all this time, I didn't really have any degradation to the battery or anything. It's still holding on strong. So with that being said, let's move on. So let's go over the application again real fast. Well, it's not gonna be fast, maybe like 5 or 6 minutes or so. You have the battery life and the battery life case up top, which is a good thing in my opinion, so you know how charged your headset actually is. If you hit the little cog wheel in the top right-hand corner, I'm gonna tap it right now, you have the volume balance. So let's say you're hard of hearing in your left ear, you can actually make it where the left ear is a little bit stronger, so that way it'll even out the sound for both headsets for you. You have sound mode, which has LDAC. I believe the codecs for this is SBC and AAC. It might be another one. But if you put it on LDAC, you are going to get richer sound, but you're sacrificing the multi-point. Me personally, I just leave it on combined audio and connection quality so I could use multi-point for my Steam Deck and my regular device. You have prompt sounds, which allows for touch tones and battery life right there. It'll let you know that the battery life is low. You have auto power off. Now, I leave mine off all the time. If you have your headset in, you don't use it for between 10, 20, 30 minutes or 60 minutes, you can set a timer where it'll automatically deactivate for you to save battery. But my thing is, I don't really care about that because these headphones have a pretty long battery life and the case gives it an extra long battery life. So it's not really a big deal to me. And if they're outside of the case, they're going to be in my ear. That's pretty much it. You have the option for a widget that works for Android devices. Personally, I don't really use it. I just tap the application itself, but some people may want that level of customization. Now, since I had these, there haven't been too many firmware updates. 3.003.18 is the newest update they have. I don't know if they're going to update it anymore, but for right now, that's what we have. Now, let's talk about the crux of everything. Sound effects. You do have 3D sound, which works good for gaming and films. I don't really use it. To be honest with you, it's not for me. I'm sure some people like this feature. I just use things outside the box, change the equalizer if I want bass booster, and I'm pretty much good to go, which brings us to the equalizers, the presets. You have Soundcore signature, balance. Matter of fact, let me just tap more so you can see it yourself. And you have all these different presets right here. Now, personally, I like the Soundcore signature. Sometimes I'll use bass booster depending on the headset, which it does work well with this one. But for that lover out there of headsets, custom EQ is always the way to go. And if anyone has a custom EQ for this particular headset, let me know. I'll give you a shout out. I'll do a video strictly for that EQ so you can get all the credit in the world because I always love custom EQs. Some people just have a really good ear for sound and I'm always for it. But yes, you can change this to however you want it to be. But for right now, I'm going to leave mine on a signature Soundcore for right now. You have dual connections, which is pretty cool. I know I skipped controls. I'll go back to that in a moment. But right here, these are the multiple devices of history that I have. I don't have the Edge 2024 anymore. I do have 2 Steam Decks and things like that. So if I was to tap this toggle, which I'm not going to do at this moment, it'll allow me to use multi-point between 2 devices and only 2 devices. I can switch which 2 I use, but it's only going to be 2. And in order to sync it to multi-point for the person that's new to this, what you would do is go to the bottom of the screen, press new device. You're going to hear a prompt in your headset. It's going to automatically put your earbuds back into pairing mode. It'll still be connected to your current device, but it allows you to connect to the secondary device. And once that's done, you should have no problems moving forward. Now, if you're playing videos on both things, whatever's playing first is going to take priority. When you pause it and then play or answer a phone call, whatever, it's going to pick up whatever that primary device is, and that's how multi-point works. But it does seamlessly switch between the 2. I haven't had any hiccups so far, really, at all. We have controls. Now, you can turn the controls off at the top of the screen. Boom, you have nothing to worry about. But if you want to go through the customization, the left and the right button has the same exact customization. So for non-taps, single taps, you have volume up, volume down, next, previous, pause and play, and none. For double tap, it just added voice assistant mode, basically. And it's going to be the same for the triple taps. It's going to be the same for long press. And if you switch over to the left side, like I said, it's going to be exactly the same level of customization. But again, I normally turn this off. It's just on for video purposes. And right here, you have calls. So you can double tap to answer and you can long press to decline. And I believe double tap also hangs up the phone. So double check that if you're interested in learning how to do that. And we also, well, lastly, we have a gaming mode. Actually, no. Correction. There actually is something else in this, but I'll leave a link in the description for anyone's interested in that one. So right here, we have gaming mode, which basically means, it's supposed to have a more stable connection, kind of, what allows for, let's say you're playing Call of Duty Mobile, or better yet, let's say you're using this headset connected to your Steam Deck or your PC or a gaming console or something like that, right? You're going to be able to pick up the bullets and subtle movements, and it does a really good job. Like everything from Ender Lilies to Call of Duty to Silk Song or any Hollow Knight game or, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4 remake. The sounds are really good in this, and nothing was off, not even by a second. So I will say that the connectivity with the Bluetooth 5.4 is very strong with this headset, and I highly doubt anyone's going to have an issue using it. Now, the last feature right here, I'll see if I can pop it up. Where is it? It was another feature in the headset where you actually had translation. And I forget where it is, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about that. This is supposed to be a recap review anyway. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can actually see the translation feature where it could translate in real time. So you pick the language, a person can have a conversation with you. As long as the microphones pick up, it'll actually decipher it and put it in whatever language you're in. And then you can speak back to them and you can show them your phone and it'll basically translate the conversation for you. It's a really cool feature. But anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on. Now, if you're having conversations with these earbuds or if you're recording with them, this is the level of quality that you're going to get with the microphones. Now, keep in mind if you're underground in the subway or if you're outside when it comes to inclement weather, meaning like rain, heavy rains, or even heavy winds or light winds for that matter, it is going to interfere with the mic a little bit. I spoke to my wife on the phone with these and she said that you can hear me clearly because it does sound better when you speak to someone versus me just recording in a voice app. But these are how the microphones are going to be. So whether you're using them for Zoom calls, I don't know if Skype still exists, Facebook calls, or regular phone calls, people aren't going to say they can't hear you. The microphones are definitely clear enough where you shouldn't have any issues speaking to other people. But just keep in mind you want to be in the control setting because, again, if it's going to be heavy winds and things like that, you may have to actually disconnect the Bluetooth and use your phone or your speaker and for them to hear you because there will be a lack of quality in that regard. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I still use these buds. I still like them. They have wireless charging. They have a long 10-hour battery life on one charge. You have an IP rating, which I don't get caught in the rain or anything, but regardless, I just appreciate that it's still there. You do have AI translation. Don't use that feature at all. But again, it's there for the person that wants to use it. You may want to go to the nail salon and see what people are saying to you. Or better yet, occasionally when I do use it, which is only at work, to be honest with you, and it's very rare that I do that, there are some people that come in and it's a language barrier. They may speak Russian or Spanish or something else, and I don't speak any other language outside of English and Ebonics. So this comes in handy in that regard where I can show them what I'm saying, show them the phone, and then boom, they can respond back by speaking into it and it translates back and forth. But that's not an interaction that happens on a regular basis with my particular job, but I do appreciate the feature. So it's jam-packed with everything. You have decent microphones. The only thing that's honestly missing outside of Soundcore is the wind reduction feature, which is really cool. This one doesn't have it, but it's not life or death. Now, again, they did increase the price from $99 to $129. It does have a wireless charging. And when I look at the value of what it brings, yes, it is worth the asking price. But again, I don't expect people to just drop $129.99 and just be like, you know what, on a headset. Sometimes you want to save money. And there's the V20Is, there's the V30Is. There are other brands of headsets that you can get. Or if you want to stay in the Soundcore family, you can go on Amazon, you can find them for dirt cheap at this point, and you'll like those just as much as you'll like these, and you won't even have a second thought about it. Now, if you have the money, my suggestion is to buy these, and you'll probably use these as your primary headset on a regular basis. But at the same time, that's only if you're into open ear hook headphones. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe like always, guys. Have fun making a video. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching the video. I will see you in the next one. So take care, peace, and God bless.